Okay, we're back talking with Assemblymember Robert Rivas. Again, most of our questions have been around the coronavirus issue and how we're all being impacted by that. I wanted to go into some different and maybe some more lighter questions here with you, Assemblymember. How do you foresee, because all of us now have to take on some additional, I guess you could call it knowledge in the area of technology, applying different types of technology to our lives and our working life as well. How do you foresee technology playing a larger role in our daily lives going forward?
Well, that's an interesting question, Mark, and that's why I think the question in the first segment addressing this track and trace concept that's been rolled out by the governor or has been rolled out by the governor. This has been a very complex and controversial issue around utilizing technology in this state, which has made all of our lives much easier. Being able to bank on my phone, being able to, walk into a store without a wallet and be able to just swipe my phone to purchase something and the money comes right out of my bank account. I mean, it has made my life much easier. You're able to hail a car through an app and get a ride from point A to point B in a matter of minutes. It's fascinating. We have a couple bills in the legislature right now that we have recalibrated to address the challenges in a post-COVID-19 California that are really tech-based bills, meaning making it more efficient for people to access court services. One of our bills attempts to allow, it really goes to the point of our jurisdiction being really remote and rural, where folks in the Gilroy area probably have to drive to, the city of San Jose to pay a court fine, or if you're in Soledad or King City, you've got to drive to, a more urbanized area in Monterey County to pay court fines. And so our bill simply would allow the electronic ability to pay fees online. The other bill is a telehealth bill. And so allowing people to get, immediate appointments and get, primary care services, specialized services by the use of technology on one's phone by utilizing, these telehealth services and by, utilizing these electronic platforms. And so certainly, technology has made our lives easier and it's going to play a greater role as we move forward. But certainly there's those concerns about privacy issues. Cybersecurity is always an issue. This is something that, there's a specific policy committee in the legislature. I know in the Assembly there is one. I don't sit on that committee that deals, exclusively with these issues. So certainly, as we move forward, as you hear about tracing people who have contracted COVID, ensuring their shelter in place. I mean, obviously it raises flags. And I think that this is certainly a double-edged sword. There's going to be a lot of concerns that we are going to look into very closely in the coming months and coming years. But certainly one cannot, deny the fact that our technology, our evolving technology, will continue to shape our lives and will continue to make our lives much more efficient. But certainly, paying attention to these details, working with stakeholders, working with advocacy groups, with all members of our community, and how technology can impact our communities in a very positive or negative way. All that stuff has to be looked at very closely.
Yeah, I think there's just there's more technology in the future for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
We're all
no question.
We're all adjusting to this work from home sort of environment now. And how is it for you? How are you adjusting to working from home?
Yeah, it's been challenging. It's been great being home with my family. For the better part, this is still my second year in the legislature, but certainly my time campaigning for Assembly. So for the better part of the last 2.5 years, I can't recall a time ever being home for a 3-day stretch other than for Christmas or, a holiday. And so having been sheltered in place here since I believe March 17th, has been different. It's been challenging at times because obviously, my job entails that I'm constantly everywhere in the community. I'm always, I spend about 4 or 5 days a week in Sacramento at the Capitol when we're in session. But even when I'm home, I'm always out and about, whether it be in the county of Santa Clara, the county of Monterey, in Santa Cruz counties. I mentioned I represent a large district that encompasses 4 counties and about a dozen cities. And so certainly being home and trying to manage this by phone has been very, very challenging, by video conferences. And so certainly I think I've been very, very busy, more so than I probably ever anticipated, that I was going to be being here at home. Because obviously trying to manage this crisis, working with schools and working with just a ton of different stakeholders, has been rewarding, but obviously very challenging in trying to, keep everyone up to date, but at the same time trying to, get information from the governor and his staff and from a lot of state agencies. That's why I'm so thankful to have such a responsive and efficient staff here, at home and in Sacramento. But certainly I have been out and about a few times. We, to go volunteer and help with food distributions. We had a very successful farm worker supply drive this past weekend in Watsonville. Obviously, the need to provide for our most vulnerable residents is a huge issue at the moment. And so we had a very successful drive of non-perishable goods, food, and diapers, and essential things that families need. We had an overwhelming response. It was in Watsonville, but we had people that drove from San Jose, from San Francisco, from a lot of people from Santa Clara County, from Gilroy, and from Morgan Hill that saw the Facebook and Instagram ads that we had, the posts we had that advertised this event, and the response of generosity was overwhelming. So, we'll continue to push forward and do what we can. We are expected to reconvene as a legislature next a week from today on Monday, May 4th. And, as I mentioned, myself and my colleagues were certainly very, very eager to get back to work, to reconvene, to not only, ensure that we're providing the oversight to a lot of these executive orders that are being made by our governor, but certainly to begin to respond to this crisis the best way we can as a state, as the largest and state, both physically and economically in the U.S. And so certainly looking at what the federal government has done to provide relief for our constituents and for so many stakeholders in our state, and looking where we can fill those gaps, and really trying to create a statewide stimulus package for those most impacted by this crisis.
And our final question here is, this is again probably just very, very light, and just thought it'd be kind of fun to ask you, what's your favorite, what's your wife's favorite meal that you've cooked since working from home?
Oh, yeah, I don't do much cooking, but certainly I'm my favorite meal of the day is breakfast. And so I'm pretty consistent about, my scrambled eggs mixed in with some spinach, maybe a bowl of oatmeal. And I typically make a shake in the morning, a protein shake. But my wife, she's a fantastic cook, and she really, loves to be innovative in what she cooks, and she's all about flavors. And I'm all about trying to be healthy. And so if my food tastes like cardboard, so long as it's healthy, then I'm okay with it. So, usually when I cook, she stays away from what I make. But I always have an appetite. So she makes just fantastic things, and so we've been very lucky to be able to get all the ingredients we need. If it's not in the store because the shelves have been running empty, then we certainly can rely on our neighbors and friends who have been great.
Well, good, Robert. Thank you so much. So much appreciate you being with us and being a part of our 6th annual legislative summit. I know you joined us last year. That was your first time attending, and I certainly look forward to the future and having you attend those future events as well.
Absolutely, Mark, and I really appreciate you and everything you do. Always you are such a strong advocate for the region and for the chamber. And so certainly, as we get started again, hopefully a week from tomorrow, or from today, as I mentioned, Monday, May 4th, if we could set up a call on Monday to provide you guys with an update, I would be happy to do that. Just let me know, and let our staff know, Amy know, and anything that our team can do to clarify issues, legislation. If you guys have ideas for us, anything at all, please never hesitate to reach out to our office, and we're always available and always here to help.
Well, thank you so much. That wraps up this discussion with Assemblymember Robert Rivas. I'm Mark Turner with the Gilroy Chamber of Commerce.